Hello, welcome back to the Lindsay and Randy
How
show.
you doing? I'm Randy.
And I'm Lindsay, because this is
Listen,
our show.
yeah, we just
Uh,
having a good time, y'all.
but we're here to have a good
Yeah.
time. But today's topic is the decline of mental health, of people's mental health.
Yes.
And first question that I want to pose,
Okay.
loaded, but first question.
Loaded. I
Um,
don't know how much I like that.
Do you think that there's actually been a decline, or is it because mental health is more on people's radar that we
That's
are
a good
attributing
question.
a lot of things to the decline in people's mental health?
That's a good question, and I think you actually already have talked about this
Mhm.
because that's something that actually baffles my mind because I'm like, it's popular. It's so popular now, and it's almost cool to have a mental
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
It's like I don't think y'all really understand that it's not really that cool to have a mental issue. But I do believe that we're attaining too much information, which is creating the increase in mental,
Mhm.
in my opinion. I think we're attaining, how do I put it? Everything is streaming. And when I say
Yes.
everything is streaming, there's not a break anymore.
No.
It's just like you're just constantly getting information,
Yes.
constantly. And we're not a computer. So like with my computer, I can start it with 256 gigs and I can bump it up to a terabyte to gain more space. We're not a computer. So we're at overload at an early age.
I agree with that. Yeah, we are exposed to too much.
Yes.
We're just exposed to too much.
Mhm.
There is so much information that we're flooded with
Yes.
constantly.
Mhm.
And I do want to speak to what you said in terms of mental health becoming popular right
Yes,
now. And
yes.
I agree, like it's become a very trendy topic.
Yeah.
But also thank goodness for that.
Yeah, true. I agree.
Because there are a lot of people who wouldn't seek services
Mhm.
who now are willing to
Mhm.
because it's not as taboo.
Mhm.
But as a coach, do you ever find yourself having to filter through the people who are there for the trend and people who are truly there to get the help that they need?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. As a coach, when everybody that literally comes to me, they've had to constantly make a decision to come to me because it's different when you're dealing with a clinician because you kind of have a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to research me. You have to kind of look at my ideologies. You kind of have to read up on me. So you also have to build up your confidence to come in there because one thing about a coach, when you walk in the room, we are just that.
Yeah.
Once you make the team, you're on the team.
Mhm.
You've already went through the tryouts. It's game time. So you have to be ready for that because it's like a hitting them out very quickly. So I really don't. I would say 1 out of every 20
Mhm.
is playing a game.
Got
Like they just want to see if it's real. I want to see if you really know what you're talking about. I want to see if you can get into my head.
Mhm.
I am not a psychic.
Yeah.
And I've had a psychic.
And neither
tell
am
me
I.
that. Exactly.
And neither are most therapists. Like
Mhm.
all clinicians, regardless of,
Mhm.
of coach or clinician, most of us are not clairvoyant.
Yeah, there you go.
So you still have to come in and share the information in
go.
order for us to do what we need to do.
But it's like, and I think that it's not that a lot of people I've met don't want to talk about it. They truly don't know how.
Mhm.
They don't know how to scream. It's
Yeah.
and they don't know how to get it out.
Mhm.
So, the part about being misogynistic
Mhm.
and making people feel comfortable, but not comfortable with you,
Mhm.
being comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. I like to make people feel comfortable with themselves and just breathe.
Mhm.
Just breathe and know that the sickness comes from withholding the information.
Yes.
It does not come from releasing the information.
When I worked in substance abuse, we always said your secrets keep you sick. So,
I like
so
that.
yeah, so if you're withholding, then that is part of the sickness. And so when you look at mental health being on people's radar, but also the rapid decline in the public's mental health, and we see it in so many different ways in terms of the uptick in violence, the uptick in depression and anxiety diagnoses. Like what do you see as the biggest culprits or contributors to people's decline in mental health?
Well, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think that it's not. 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 It's not and I'll just use this as I'll just call it, it's just a broad term for it, the media. They implement in the things that keep us confused. They keep us confused because, we're such in this monetary gain society now.
Mm-hmm.
And, happiness doesn't sell.
No, it doesn't.
Happiness doesn't sell.
No, peace, tranquility, happiness.
It doesn't sell. So they always tell us that peace is not real. Peace is not real. And they always give us bits and pieces of negative. Like you said, violence. So we're always seeing violence. You can, if you step outside and you just pay attention to it, something happens and that'll be the focus.
Yes.
Then when it's something that's maybe a little bit more detrimental to society, they'll shift to that.
Mm-hmm.
They never give you the whole picture. And they never show you the end results unless they're bad.
Yeah.
And it's like everything is not a group situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a why type person. I'm
Yeah.
a very big why type person. And even with the worst person, I want to know your why. You just did some heinous acts.
Yeah.
Why did you do it?
Well, those acts never come out of nowhere.
There you go.
So
There you go. But people are afraid of their why. Some people don't know their why. Their why sometimes can be a result of some trauma that they haven't realized that they've even went through.
Yeah, that is very true.
And that's the scary part about some of the people that we deal with. Sometimes you really don't know where or what you're going to get from this, where you're going or what you're going to get from the scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's unpredictable.
Yes.
It is unpredictable, but
What do you think? Do you think? Now this may be a loaded question, but do you think that if the media, and like I said, I use it in the broad strokes because the media is from social to actual to you name it. If they were to help, could they help us change the narrative on this mental illness thing?
Oh, absolutely. Because I just think that the theme of today has been oversaturated. Like we're oversaturated with bad news. We're oversaturated with violence. We're oversaturated with polarizing opinions where people are now, being keyboard warriors and they're, arguing with other people. And that's how a lot of people are engaging via social media. And so, if everyone would just calm down and take it down like 16 notches,
wow.
then yes, I think that we would alleviate a lot of things. But again, like our word that we've been using a lot here in the past couple of weeks has been consumption.
Yes.
What are you consuming? What are you listening to? What are you watching? And that heavily influences our worldview, how we see the world and how we interact with the world. And so if you see the world as a bad and negative place, and there's constantly some type of threat out there, whoever the media has told us our threat is that week.
You said something.
Then of course, if we have a predisposition to mental, a mental health diagnosis, then that can exacerbate that.
Oh my goodness.
And then people aren't connecting anymore because we are all experiencing these parasocial relationships where we're connecting via social media, but social media still is a barrier to true connection. Kind of like we were talking about earlier. Who do you call when you're upset? Who do you call if you have a flat tire? Who are you going to break bread with? Those are your real connections. Those are the people in your life that matter.
Do you even have their phone number?
Do you even have their phone number?
Most people don't. Most people now say, "What's your social media?" before they ask what your phone number is.
Yeah.
I need you to know my phone number. I need to know your phone number.
Yes.
Because if I am broke down on the side of the road, I'm not DMing you. I am calling you, and I need you to answer the phone. And it's funny because this was a conversation in our house the other day. I think that FaceTime, Duo, things of that nature are one of the biggest problems that we have because it has taken out the excitement of the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't always want to see you. Sometimes I just want to talk to you. Sometimes I want to get your genuine thoughts. I want you to want to be on the phone with me. I don't want you to be seeing what I'm doing. You see people walking through the store and they're talking to people on their thing.
Yes.
I want you to want to be on the phone with me. But when I'm in the grocery store, I want to be in the grocery store.
Yes. And so you're speaking to something really important is that, and again, I think it's another contributing factor in terms of presence. That we, there was a yoga teacher that I was studying under, and he referred to it as profound presence. And profound presence really is just like doing one thing at a time. So if
Mhm.
you are breathing, all you're thinking about, all you're focusing on is that breath and what it makes you feel, and not even what you think about it, but just the breath.
Yes.
And so we don't analyze it, dissect it, we just are there. And people are having less and less of those moments because there's just so much noise
Oh gosh.
or opportunity for noise. Like, when's the last time you just washed the dishes? When's the last time you went on a walk without earbuds in?
That's a good one. Now, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
And so it just really being intentional about engaging in activities that require presence, or choosing presence as opposed to distraction.
Man, I'm stuck on them earbuds.
Yep.
So it's gonna take a lot from me.
Yeah, you're just like the earbuds.
Because I mean, no, because you think about it. You think about walking with nothing but the birds,
Mhm.
dogs barking, cars passing by. You actually notice people at that point.
Yeah.
You actually realize that I actually have a neighbor.
Or you notice yourself.
Exactly.
You notice yourself.
Mhm.
Like, how many people are walking around not tapped in to themselves?
Majority.
Yeah, and again, we are the most connected we've ever been in the history of the world in terms of like connected to something.
Yes.
And we're the most disconnected because we aren't connected to ourselves or other people.
Man, goodness.
And I think that that's our big decline is that we just haven't gotten comfortable enough with sitting with ourselves and sitting with our stuff. Like that if you're sad, allow yourself to be sad. If you're upset in any way, shape, or form, allow yourself that.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. It's normal. And I know normal is a little bit of a dirty word in mental health, but it's normal to have the full range of emotions. So many of us want to be neutral to happy and want to ignore the other part of the spectrum. But again, if we don't give ourselves that time just to sit with it and to process it, and to connect with other people and interface with other people, then we are going to see a continued decline in people's mental health.
And the sad thing about it is, I call our kids the people inside the movie, and we're the movie.
Yes.
They're watching us, and if we're not showing them things like emotional moments as an individual, not in totality, how can our kids understand that it's okay? Yeah, they can't, because trust me, once you give them that phone, they think this is the real world. Yes. They have nothing else to think about but this. This is the real world to them. We have to counteract that with real things, real emotions, real moments. Like you said, they need to see you go out and sit on your front porch with a cup of coffee. Yes. And just your cup of coffee.
They need to join you.
Exactly. They need to join you.
I encourage all families to have screen-free time, where you put it in the landing station, chargers, wherever, and then just have a conversation. And I know TV is a screen, but even if you watch a movie together, but how many times are people watching a movie and they're also scrolling? So it's just really to be present and to engage. And you're right, like, little eyes are always watching us. Always. And because of that, our behavior gives permission for their behavior.
There you go.
And so if we're constantly distracted, they get two messages. One, that your screen is more important than them.
There you go.
Two, that when they finally get their own screen, that they too can be in the screen, and that's dangerous because their brains aren't fully developed. Our brains aren't fully developed until we're between 23 and 25 years old. And so there's a lot of really important stuff that is going on that our phones can take away from. True. In terms of just regulation and being able to wait on things. Everything shouldn't be instantly gratifying, but because of the world that we live in, we can have anything delivered to our front door.
Literally.
So,
that's almost scary.
Yes. And listen, no judgment for me, because I am a Publix grocery delivery all day, every day. They come, they deliver my house at least twice a week. But I'm busy now, my mom. So don't judge me. But ultimately, you still have to go out into the world. True. And that's where I really
interact when you're out there. Talk to people.
Yes.
These people they're not your enemy.
No.
Talk to people. I truly believe that being happy when you leave and speaking to people,
Mm-hmm.
even if you think this person doesn't want to, you could change their perspective for the day.
Oh yeah.
Some people are sad because no one will speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are mad because they have no one that they think wants to speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell them good morning,
Just-
afternoon,
yes, exactly.
anything, you know. And
Just
if you,
pleasantries.
if
Explain pleasant or not explain, but give someone pleasantries like
Even
the
over
beginning
the
of the
phone.
day.
even over the
Yes.
phone, this is such. How you doing? Most of the time, this is what I get. Good morning. How you doing? They go, good morning. You know why they do it that way? Because no one ever does it.
Yeah, because they're surprised.
They didn't even get it when they went to work that morning. They didn't get it when they woke up that morning.
Mhm.
Their spouse just said, I'm on my way out. The kid said, see you later on, Mom. Nobody ever said, how was your sleep? Good morning. We make it a point to ask each other, how was your sleep last
Yes.
night? Because that determines your day.
Yeah, it sets
And
the
if your
tone.
sleep was bad, then what can we do to fix it? Do you need to talk about what happened during your sleep? These are important things that need to be
Yes.
implemented into people's lives.
Because sleep is a cornerstone of mental health.
There you go.
And if you are deprived of sleep, it puts you at risk for a lot of things.
A lot of
So,
things.
because that's just when our bodies and our
Mentally
minds
and
feel-
physically.
Yes.
Mhm,
And
mentally and
so
physically, yes.
it's very important.
Mhm.
What would be 3 things that you would name that could help people's mental health, like things that people could do for themselves, seek out for themselves to make sure they keep their mental health in
Well, you
check?
know, first of all, like I said, I will preach this to the day and to the end. Self affirmations are important to me. I feel like the best person to encourage you is self. Second thing is go outside. Go
Yes.
outside.
Yes.
But don't go outside with anything in your hands or go outside and enjoy the beauty. It is healing. It's healing for me because, you know, I like to see the fact that one day I looked out my back door and I told my wife, I said, this is how the world should be. It was red birds, blue birds, black birds. It was squirrels. It was
Mhm.
rabbits. And they were all out there. They weren't thinking about each other. They were just playing with
Yeah.
within it. That's how the world should be. They don't have any
Mm-mm.
distractions. So I would say that, and then I can agree with you more than anything. Sometimes you need to unplug, sit it down, walk away from it,
Mhm.
and just enjoy what's happening. We don't need the distraction all the time.
Mhm.
Talk to your kids. Don't just keep sending them to the room.
Yeah.
Bring them in here with you.
Yes.
Let's talk
Yes.
about your day.
Mhm.
And let them talk to you. Because guess what? They got a lot to talk about.
Yes, they do.
They got
Yes,
a
they
lot.
do.
So if I had to, those would be 3 things. And you know, one thing you see about me, everything is always about self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need that. We need to
Yes.
be self-preserved. And those are the 3 things I'll do. And what about yourself?
Okay. Well, it was quoted on our Instagram page, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna say it again. Everyone needs to check up from the neck up.
Mhm.
So, depending on what your need is, you know, find a practitioner that is good for you.
I like it.
And it doesn't mean that you have to be in therapy or coaching forever. But each phase of life that we have comes with a new set of challenges. And if it feels like beyond you, then come see us or someone who does something similar to us.
Mhm.
So that's definitely, you know, seek help if you need it.
Mhm.
Self-care
Yes.
is really, really important. And I mean real self-care,
Mhm.
because self-care, people hear self-care and think to themselves, manicures, massages, like spa treatments.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, but it's
Mhm.
not all of it. So I
Mhm.
mean, self-care really could be that you're drinking enough water that
There
day.
you go.
You know, are you moving your body that day?
Mhm.
Just all of the things that we need to do to be at optimal levels for ourselves and for the people that we
Yes.
love. So incorporating some type of self-care
Mhm.
along with affirmation, I think
Yes,
is really,
yes,
really
yes,
important.
for sure.
And self-care is an affirmation action,
There
if
you
you
go.
will, where
I
it's
like
just
that.
like, you know, words affirming, but this is
Mhm.
actions affirming that, you know, I'm important enough
Yes.
to care for myself.
Mhm.
And then third and final is get enough sleep. You gotta sleep. you have to rest.
Mhm.
We've had lots of conversations about hustle culture.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I'm anti-hustle culture. I don't think that everything needs to be monetized. I don't believe in eat, sleep, hustle. I believe in eat, sleep, and then go, you know, I don't know, take another nap. So, don't eat, sleep, hustle. And part of that is we aren't who we are isn't what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Who we are isn't how much money we have or how much money we make or how much we hustle. And there's no nobility in busyness.
There you go.
There is nobility in loving the people who love us.
Yes.
There's nobility in rest. There is nobility in living a life of contentment and enough, not happiness and excess. And so those are my 3 big recommendations for better mental health.
Hey, I tell you what, ain't no better way to end this episode.
Okay.
And I say that because sometimes you got to leave people with something to chew on.
Yes.
And I can't wait for the next conversation. But you know, between the coach and the clinician, I ain't no telling what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I was like, but we're doing the Lord's work. and whoever you answer to, we didn't say a specific Lord. Just
there you go.
The Lord.
There you go.
So, but thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And feel free to comment, message, and reach out to us on all of our social media platforms.
And you can find us at The Lindsay and Randy Show.